In some smoke-filled room, you can't stop it. With all your good intentions, no security around me can stop what they have planned. Only God can deliver me. And if God doesn't deliver me, that's a sign he can't deliver you. But since that I know he can, God then has made me to go in front of you and challenge the powers of the world. Now they're all angry with Farrakhan. There ain't never been a black man in America that has sustained the daily barrage of hate propaganda that they putting on your brother. I'm hanging on a cross right now. I'm on Calvary right now. Oh, come on, Farrakhan. Now, let's not be melodramatic. Any other black leader catching this kind of hell? Not one. No? I'm beginning to hang here now. And it's around the first hour. They want to strip me of my robe or followers. It's like I'm hanging on a cross, but it's like this. You see the propaganda going out first. False witnesses arising to charge me with the murder of Malcolm X. Years ago, they said, well, we believe Elijah Muhammad gave the order. Farrakhan's name was never mentioned. Well, now that Elijah is gone and Farrakhan is present, and Farrakhan seems to have the multitudes coming with him, and they see Farrakhan has raised Lazarus from the dead. Lazarus here does not mean an individual in a tomb. It means first and foremost a people that have a napkin on their eyes and chains on their hands and feet. And just like Moses had to say to Pharaoh, let my people go, Jesus had to say to Satan, loose him and let him go. And when they see 25,000 people come out in New York, 10,000 in Chicago, another 10,000 in this city, or 15,000 in another city, 40,000 in another city, 60,000 in another city, they're frightened, brothers and sisters. Somebody's calling you, and you are not holding back. You're coming out. When I went to New York, I called for the black men. Nearly 20,000 came out. Only 12,000 could get in. Somebody called. No black leader in America can call black people. Michael Jackson could come out on that corner, 20,000 and not coming. Not black people. You have 20,000, but there'd be a mixture. But when Farrakhan calls, black folk answer. It's not just men answering. I'm going to go back in some of those cities where we had men-only meetings, and we're going to have women-only meetings. And I will show you that the black woman is even more in tune than us, brothers. I'm saying that to say that Lazarus, a lazy people, are being called to a higher purpose. They are responding. In a specific sense, no organization that the government of America ever destroyed ever was brought back. And the Nation of Islam has been called back and is coming back. And so after Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead, he came into Jerusalem riding on an ass. You really want to know what that means? Jerusalem in America is New York City. It's the capital city of the Jews. It is the banking capital of the world. And when Farrakhan came, 25,000 of the poor masses of our people came to hear their brother. When Jesus was getting ready to go into Jerusalem, there was an ass and a colt tied together. And Jesus told his disciples, loose them. And if anybody asks you, what are you doing? Tell them the master has come and has need of these. You are the ass that they got tied up. An unlearned people tied to America, but ain't nobody using you because you've lost your use. And there's a colt tied with her. The colt is the offspring of a horse, which is the most intelligent of the beasts of the field. This means the young black college students, intellectuals, they're tied to a system, waiting for somebody to make use of them. So now, who's with Farrakhan? Connie Chung had it on TV the other day. She showed Farrakhan. She showed Khaled. She showed a young college student, Malik Zulu Shabazz. But what are they saying? Hey, the poison is in this old one. The poison is in this next to the old one. That's Khaled. And the poison is now down in the college students. And if we go into grammar school, the rappers have taken Farrakhan's message and put it in the babies. So in order to destroy Farrakhan, we got to destroy all these people. They ain't exposing us on television because they love us. They're trying to show how deep the word has penetrated into the hearts of our people. So they've decided, I got to die. The first stage is the propaganda. The second stage is to bring me before the courts. But all of this is part of the crucifixion process. Even if they know I'm innocent, and they know I'm innocent, they want to put their hands on me to bring me to jail. I mean, and don't worry about it. If it happens, don't get excited. I mean, to talk like this to you might upset you because you think Farrakhan shouldn't suffer these kind of things. Don't be silly. The more I suffer, the more our people are raised in consciousness. Just by their beating on me and my being able to take it, black people are beginning to say, what they beating on that man for? What are they, I mean, and people are getting angry now. Well, what's raising you? It is the cross. It is my suffering that is undeserved. I did nothing to deserve this, but it is out of my love for him and for you that I'm suffering. And I'm ready to go all the way. Because I know that by my stripes, every one of you will be healed. You don't have to look anywhere for your Jesus. I represent him. He made me a replica of his own suffering. So happy Easter. Because no matter what they do to me and to us, they'll never destroy who and what we are. I may go to court, but they don't want me in court just yet because they can't prove their case. But with false witnesses in a grand jury proceeding, they can indict me. You are such a silly people. All white folk got to do is indict somebody. Indictment is only a charge. Child, you know, they indicted Farrakhan today. The grand jury sent down an indictment and they're going to arrest Farrakhan. A charge don't mean the man is guilty. That's why they want to try me in the press, because they really can't try me in a court. But think about getting me in jail. Look at their aim. Just like they came after Jesus, you can believe when they come for me, they're coming with an army. So they're scared you're going to fight. No, they don't need one. I know what's written. I got to do what's written to me. They got to do what's written to them. Otherwise, the Bible is not going to be fulfilled, and you'll be running around here looking for something. I got to go through what I got to go through. I'm made for this. I was born into the world to meet this day, to glorify the God that I represent, and to make the Satan know that you may have eaten up everything else on the earth, but this one, he will never bow down. He will never sell out. Never. 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 And so, as I begin this journey to that hour when he says, it is finished, it don't mean he died. It means I have done what you brought me into the world to do. It's finished. I ran my course, and now it's laid up for me the crown, and I'm going to get my crown. And what is my crown? You will see me again. Man, I'm so happy. I am so happy that my blessed mother, who's not alive to see her son today, but that blessed black woman, May, short for Mary again, laid a foundation in her son. I was born to die for you. I love the thought of dying for you. I'm in love with the thought of dying for you. It don't mean, brothers, he died for your sins. But God had to take a good man, a man in whom there was no guile or deceit or treachery. And anybody that knows me from young to now 60 going on 61. Can never tell you I did one treacherous act against any human being. I'm not a liar, deceiver. Somebody that wants good has to be made to suffer for those of his people who are not good. Their essence is good, but they are not good. And you know, God has made me so. My wife maybe can bear me witness. As a young minister, I went out of my house, which was the house that Malcolm used to live in New York. And a young man across the street was telling me about his wife who had died in childbirth. And as he began to talk to me of his wife's suffering, I unloosened the knot in my tie. And the more he talked, I took my tie off and opened my shirt. And the more he talked, I took my jacket off. And I couldn't take any more. So I said, brother, I have to go. I walked across the street and I knocked on the door. And when I think it was my wife who opened the door, I fell on my knees in the house. And I crawled over to the couch and got up on the couch and laid there until I got my strength back. The reason God has made me such an effective preacher is not because of oratory, but it's because of the heart that identifies so closely with the sinner that he becomes sin. He's not that. I'm not a low-life individual. But I identify with you whom I love, whom I was born into the world to suffer for. I identify with you so much till I become sin. You understand? So when I suffer for something I didn't do, I'm suffering for all the things that you have done. And the more they beat me and my beating is undeserved, it becomes redemptive of my people. Do you follow what I'm saying? So now, I mean, we've come to that hour. I can't go back. I can't duck. They are not going to change. They are determined they're going to get me. And God may do me like he did Job. Turn me into their hands for a season. If they get me in jail, don't worry. There'll be somebody in there for me and with me. I know this is hard for you to take. I don't want you to grieve over this. You know, when Jesus started telling the people what he was about to go through, he was telling them, let not your hearts be troubled over this, because this has to happen. If it don't happen, then maybe you made a mistake somewhere. We got to fulfill it. Look at all the Confederate forces that are lining up with the Jews against us. The whole Muslim world may turn on us. When the Christian world hears me say that I represent Jesus and he's a black man, and I am to him as Peter and Paul were to Jesus, or as Aaron was to Moses, it may start a clamor. People want to stone us. But when the whole world is against you, that's when God proves his power by bringing you out on top. And I can tell you now, before the stuff gets to the 9th and the 11th hour, we're going to be the winner. I can tell you right now that no matter what they conspire, God is in it. So leave them alone in their madness. Let them do what they got to do. And if they come for me, I don't want you fighting them. I don't do that. Now cool out. I'll go. I know that's what's written. They don't want to let me out once they get me in. They want to hold me in prison at least a year or more so they can work on me. Put stuff in your food. They don't want me dead. They want me discombobulated mentally. You remember Huey Newton? When they put Huey in prison, what did they do? They had a movement saying, free Huey. Well, you know a movement's going to come up saying, free Farrakhan. And they'll be in the middle of it helping to fuel it. Free Farrakhan, man. All the while, they'll be working to bust up the nation. Break you up on the outside, cause you to start schisms on the outside, and try to weaken me on the inside, so that when they let me out, as they have to let me out, they feel I'll be mentally incapacitated, and they will allow me to destroy the very movement that they build up around me by messing with my mind, the same way they did with Huey Newton, and it's the same thing they did with Mandela. Listen to me. They held that man in prison for 26 years, brother. They built a movement around Mandela and make him something that he's not. Free Mandela, free Mandela. And all of us join the cry. And when he gets out, your hope is lifted. Mandela's free. They organize a ticker tape parade for him in New York City and cities across the country. Where's Mandela today? The people are stabbing his picture in South Africa. This is the way white folk are. They make a movement out of you. And then they let you destroy the movement because you can never live up to the hype and the imaginary fantasies that people have about your so-called leadership. We're in for some tough times. I may not be at the mosque for a few more weeks or so, but I want you to come out. I don't want you to fill the mosque because I'm teaching today. I want you to fill the mosque when Minister Ishmael is teaching, or any one of the ministers, Sister Ava is teaching, whoever is teaching. I want you to be here. Why? Because this ain't no personality cult. Even though I'm made in a very special way, each one of you is special, and each one of them is special. Truth gotta march on no matter what happens to me. Truth gotta go on. The movement has to go on. So if Chief Malik can run a movement from a jail cell, if Jesus could stimulate a movement from a prison cell, if Martin King could stimulate a movement from a Birmingham jail, you know Louis Farrakhan, who hasn't done one criminal thing, can keep a movement going from a prison cell. You who have been in jail, you know what jail is, man. It ain't nice. And you know if they get me in jail, they are not going to put me in population. They're going to keep me in isolation. And you know they're not going to give me no bail, because they say he got friends all over the world. If we give him bail, he'll skip. And now all you lawyers who've studied your craft, don't look to the nation's coffers to fill your pockets. I'm living, I'm suffering, and I'm dying for you. Least you could do is use what you know to defend a righteous brother and defend your people. Don't worry about your pocketbook. because your pocket will be filled at the proper time. But if you make money your goal, you ain't worth a damn. So, lift up your heads and let not your hearts be troubled. A great day is in front of us. It's Easter time. And so you can take off your old garment, that old mind that you got, and put on a new one today. And when you leave out of Mosque Mariam in a few minutes, you're going out of here saying, man, I really know something about Easter. I really know something about Jesus. And if you watch Brother Farrakhan, I'm only a small reflection of a man that you have not known, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.